against Miami, he got 2, led by Keith Cobb's 3-run homer and Jim Osborne's grand slam. The Titans' 9-run explosion backed the superb pitching of Longo Garcia and gave Fullerton its 5th straight win in postseason play. The Titans continue on the winning side. Defending national champion Stanford is also on the winning side because of some big hitting by Frank Carey and Ed Sprague. Though Sprague went down, his blast went out of the park, giving him 20 home runs on the season and giving Stanford a 10-3 win. Senior Lee Plemmel pitched a complete game. It was the kind of win that gives Coach Mark Marquis reason to dream that his team can repeat last year's championship performance. Welcome live to Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska, where the sun is beginning to set and the fans are getting set for what should be a real good matchup between 2 winning teams, the Stanford Cardinal and the Titans of Cal State Fullerton. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Rosen. It's a pleasure to welcome you back to our coverage of the College World Series. This is Game 6. We have eliminated 2 teams in this tournament, and now a winner's matchup. We're going to take a look at the way things stand right now. Miami this afternoon in 12 innings defeating Fresno State. Fresno State is eliminated. Miami will play tomorrow night against the loser of tonight's game between Stanford and Cal State Fullerton. Now, the West Division, Arizona State will play Florida tomorrow, and the winner of that game will play Wichita State on Thursday, and that's where we stand. Now, whoever said a pitcher can't go 2 games is crazy. Here's Big Jim back again for his second one. Boy, that was a good ball game.
I'll tell you what an exciting game. It was a long one, but great pitching in that game by Rich Crane from Fresno State, as well as Greg Knowles, a freshman from Miami. Exciting ball game. And
we're expecting real good pitching in this ball game because 2 outstanding right-handers are going for these teams.
I'll tell you, when you're Mike Messina and you've turned down like 300 grand from the Orioles as a high school senior, you must have some talent. He elected to come to Stanford. Going to be fun to watch him pitch tonight, as well as Mark Burke.
Mark Beck, an outstanding right-hander, set a school record for Cal State Fullerton in strikeouts. He throws hard. He's a sophomore. Now, these pitchers have faced the opposing teams earlier in the season.
Well, Stanford has not had much success against 5 of the teams they've played here in the College World Series, but that's so early in the year you can forget about it, because Beck is at the top of his game right now, and he'll have a tough time against Stanford because they're probably playing the best baseball that they've played all year.
And Cal State Fullerton is playing their best baseball. They came out of the South Regional with 4 straight wins. They won their first game here over Miami, 5 straight tournament wins, and they're getting some real timely hitting. How about the big first baseman, Keith Cobb?
Well, Keith Cobb with a big home run off from Joe Gray, fastball up in the strike zone. You get a look at Cobb right there and his numbers so far in postseason play. And that's the way they play baseball. They depend on the old Earl Weaver school, as Joe Morgan said the other night, the 3-run homer.
And they got the 3-run homer from Cobb. That was the 4-run inning that gave them the lead. They sewed it up with the grand slam homer by Osborne in the 9th inning.
Well, Joe Gray kept Miami in that ball game until the grand slammer. So once again, Cal State Fullerton wins games with the way they like to play. A 3-run homer, a grand slam homer.
Talk about good hitting. The Stanford Cardinal, defending national champions, did some fine hitting against Fresno State. They really pounded some shots, and especially big Ed Sprague, the 3rd baseman.
Well, they got some experience coming back here to the College World Series. A lot of the guys were here last year, including that one, Ed Sprague. And he had the big home run for him in the game in their victory the other night against Fresno State.
And you know, Jim, I think that experience has started to show. Stanford struggled. They finished 2nd in their conference, and they came through the regional very well. They traveled all the way to the east, but when they got to tournament play, they really came on strong.
I think this was a surprise even to Coach Mark Marquis this year, the fact that Stanford has played so well. We hear the old cliche, they peaked at the right time, but Stanford has. We mentioned their 5-14 record against a lot of the teams here at Omaha, but yet they have won 6 of their last 7 games that they've played here at Rosenblatt Stadium. They play well in postseason.
As Jim mentioned, there's a lot of experience on this team. 5 of the starters in the lineup tonight for Stanford were in the College World Series last year when the Stanford Cardinal won it. 2 of them are named Carey. Let's take a look at 2 of the men who are leading the Stanford Cardinal. Let's meet the Carey boys. Second baseman Frank was the star of the Northeast Regional, while right fielder Paul has been on a tear the last 2 months. But he's best remembered for his heroics in last year's College World Series. Fastball hit high in the air, deep to left field, way back there, gone! A grand slam homer! Stanford wins!
I think it's a quality or a characteristic of Stanford baseball, and it just happens that it was my turn last year and Frank's turn this year, that we like to do well in pressure situations. You know, a good baseball player wants to be up with the bases loaded, wants to be up with runners in scoring positions, and wants to do well during pressure situations.
Frank Carey has shown he can produce in pressure situations as well. His home run on Saturday was one of his 3 hits, continuing his hot streak. He's hitting .500 in postseason play, but he's taking his heroics in stride because he and Paul aren't the only key players on the team.
And I don't think it's just me and him. Basically, even, you know, to win the national championship, everybody in the lineup has got to get big hits. So I think everybody in our lineup's sitting well, and it just happens to be we've gotten a couple big hits.
Well, I think that's true. Paul Carey, obviously, last year was MVP of the World Series and played his best baseball when it counted. And I think this year, Frank Carey's kind of taken up where Paul left off, and Frank Carey is the most valuable player in the Northeast Regional in Connecticut. So, yes, I think the Carey boys are both clutch performers.
They may have the same last name, but they're very different people.
They talk differently, number one, and Frank's from San Diego, beach boy, and Paul's from the Northeast and doesn't go to the beach very often. But we kid them and we joke if people don't know the difference, but we tell them they're brothers, but they're completely opposites, but they're both great players.
They are not brothers, but they are both outstanding players. Now, Paul Carey struggled a good part of the season, Jim. He's only gotten hot the last 2 months.
Yeah, he doesn't go to the beach very often, but he goes over the fence very often. He did not hit his first home run until the 5th of April. But since then, he's caught up 11 home runs, and he's been every bit the player for Stanford that he was last year when he was the MVP in this College World Series.
And last year, Frank Carey was the number 9 man in the order. This year, he's the number 1 man, and he gets them going.
I think at the top of the lineup now, he has really come alive at the right time. He's raised his batting average 61 points in the last month. He's the table setter for him, and with Sprague and Paul Carey in the RBI spots, that's why they're here.
So Cal State Fullerton will need some good pitching. They got great pitching the other night from Longo Garcia. They're looking for it from Mark Beck tonight.
Well, Mark Beck started the year slowly, but this is one of the top-rated pitching prospects in the country. Strikes out over a man per inning. If both of these young men are on their game, we're going to see a great pitcher's duel like we saw in part of the first game.
He won only 1 of his first 4 and then finished 8-3. A good year for Mark Beck. We had a chance to talk with the head coach of Cal State Fullerton, Larry Koshel, moments ago about tonight's pitching matchup.
Well, I think the fans are going to have a chance to see 2 of the premier college pitchers in college baseball, Sam. Both Messina, a freshman, and Mark Beck, a sophomore, and both players have a chance to be on the Olympic team.
What do you have to do against Messina? What are his strengths, and what do you feel you have to do to beat him?
Well, he's got an outstanding fastball. Number 1, we're going to make him get the curveball over.
And what about your pitcher, Beck? What does he have to do to be effective?
Well, he's got to throw the fastball over and hit his spots, because Stanford is a good hitting ball club.
Jim, I think one thing we've seen in several games thus far in the World Series is that pitchers have struggled in the first couple of innings and then settled down the way Crane did in the first game today.
We've used that jugs gun a great deal in the first 7 games here of the College World Series, and we have seen a pattern. Most of the pitchers that are known for, say, an 86-mile-an-hour fastball are up there to 88, 89. Overthrowing, not much movement. Be interesting to see how these 2 young guys handle the pressure.
I wonder if a sophomore like Beck might react. He's had some control problems during the course of the season. Be interesting to see how he reacts. They say he's a bit of an emotional player on the mound.
I would think he would tend to overthrow more than Messina.
Well, Mark Messina, a fine freshman, as Jim mentioned. He was highly recruited out of high school. He was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. He turned them down. I talked to Mark Marquis about his right-hander, Mark Messina.
Well, Sam, not really. I think he pitches like a junior or senior. He's got a lot of poise, and no, in fact, I think he'll be excited, and I think he'll have one of his better games.
Both these teams have faced the other pitcher. Does either team have an advantage?
I really don't think so, because it was so early in the year. I think it was the first weekend in February that we faced each other, and both teams have changed quite a bit since then. So I don't think there's an advantage one way or the other.
Mark Messina, they say, has a lot of poise on the mound.
Well, he pitches like a junior or a senior. He won his first collegiate game against the Cal State Titans here earlier this year, but we're in Omaha now. Different setting.
Okay, Cal State, Fullerton, and Stanford. Each team has won, and the winner will secure a spot for the division championship. ESPN's live presentation of the 1988 College World Series is being brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Firestone Master Care Car Service with over 1,400 locations nationwide. Finally, taking care of your car is no big deal. By the American Express card. Membership has its privileges. Don't leave home without it. And by Olympus, makers of 35mm cameras and video. Coming up, a winners matchup in the College World Series. The Stanford Cardinal and the Titans of Cal State Fullerton. The lineup for the Stanford Cardinal is brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the College World Series. With a 10-3 win over Fresno State Saturday, Stanford has won 9 of its last 10. They're coached by Mark Marquis. In his 5th College World Series, he won a national championship last season. Leading off is the second baseman, Frank Carey, a junior. He has a 14-game hitting streak going. He went 3 for 5 in the win over Fresno State. Batting second, the shortstop, Troy Paulson, a sophomore. He started every game this season. He's hitting .345. Batting third, the third baseman, Ed Sprague, a junior. He was a first-round pick of the Toronto Blue Jays. He leads the team with 20 home runs and 76 RBIs. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Paul Carey, a sophomore, MVP of last year's College World Series. He's hitting .421 over his last 30 games. Batting fifth, the catcher, Doug Robbins, a senior, the only senior in the starting lineup. He's hitting .322. Batting sixth, the first baseman, Ron Whitmire, a junior, hitting .290, but over the last 10 games, he's hitting .382 with 5 home runs. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Brian Johnson, a sophomore, the starting quarterback on the Stanford football team. He's hitting .474 in postseason play. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Tim Griffin, a sophomore. He leads the team with a .356 batting average. And batting ninth, the center fielder, Eric DeGraw, a junior, an excellent defensive outfielder. He's hitting .289 this season.
And on defense for the Titans, Jim Osborne in right, Bobby Jones in center, and Greg Mannion over in left. On the infield, Ralph Ramirez is at third. Mark Brazuc, the shortstop. Mike Ross at second. Keith Cobb at first. Brent Main behind the plate, and on the mound, sophomore Mark Beck.
6'5", 190 pounds from Lakewood, California. Record of 9-6. His 18th appearance of the season. All starts, 3.63 earned run average, 7 complete games. And he'll face Frank Carey to start the ball game. Starts him with a good fastball, too. Frank Carey with a 14-game hitting streak that has lifted his batting average for the season over the 300 mark. He is 12 for 24 in postseason play. MVP of the Northeast Regional, which was held in New Britain, Connecticut. Stanford had to travel a long way. Lost their first game to St. John's, 5-3. Came back from the losers' side to win it. Defeated Kentucky to win the regional championship. Hit hard to third. Ralph Ramirez is there and across to Cobb. One man down in the first inning. Home plate umpire is Rusty Herring for this second game. Ron Graham at first, Jim Garman at second, and Bob Jones, who called balls and strikes last night, is at third base.
We saw Rusty Herring behind the plate earlier this year. Strike zone like John Bibles.
Breaking pitch misses to Troy Paulson, the shortstop, who has stepped in and had an outstanding year. David Esker was the shortstop last year when Stanford won the championship. 2-0.
We're seeing an example right there, Sam, of what we mentioned in the open. Mark Beck will have a tendency to overthrow the ball early in the ball game. He'll hope that he gets some outs easily in the first couple innings and can settle down.
Count of 2-1 on Troy Paulson. Mark Beck last pitched on Friday, May 27th. The first game of the South Regional. At the knees, 2-2.
Well, we mentioned Rusty Herring, the home plate umpire, and the reference to John Bible was their very liberal strike zone. Good low ball umpires.
2-2 to Paulson. Breaking pitch hit hard. Fair ball. Hit on the line. Paulson around first. Makes a big turn and then holds. Good play by Osborne getting the ball in. Jim Osborne, the right fielder, got to that ball in a hurry and held Troy Paulson to a single. Good job of hitting here by Paulson.
Well, you see him take the ball the other way. A little bit of a hanging breaking ball. The guy who does the good job on this play after you see Paulson swing is Jim Osborne, the right fielder. He gets over across the line and keeps Paulson from turning that into a double.
And here's Ed Sprague. Sprague has had an outstanding season. Comes into the game hitting .340, leading the team with 20 home runs and 76 RBIs. As we mentioned, a first-round draft pick in the Major League Draft last week, chosen by the Toronto Blue Jays. Fastball down low. Stanford has Dean Stotts coaching at third, Kirk Mason coaching at first. Mark Marquis, the head man, flashes the sign from the dugout on the first base side. Paulson at first base has stolen 11 bases. Sprague a lot of slow stuff. And he's behind on the count 2-0.
He's a three-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, and the popular changeup today, the OK change or the circle change.
Paulson's back.
Just to explain that to our viewers, if you make like the OK sign with your thumb and your index finger and then jam the ball back into the palm of your hand, that's how you throw the OK change.
That looked like an OK curveball. Count of 2-1 on Ed Sprague. They play him to pull. Big hole between first and second.
Now here's what Ed Sprague is looking at from Mark Beck. That was the off-speed pitch right there. Fooled him.
Paulson with a short lead at first. Fastball at the knees. 2-2. Sprague, who's played third base, did a little catching for Stanford last season and is projected as a catcher in the pros. 2-2. Got him. Looked like a slider.
Boy, now that is a quick slider. When you get a breaking ball like that, that breaks late and quick. The hitter has already committed himself.
Nice night for baseball. The weather has been great here in Omaha, Nebraska. It's 81 degrees right now. That breeze out of the south at 10. And no chance of rain. Two men out. Runner at first, and here's Paul Carey, who has really been on a tear. It's at foul. Paul Carey hitting at .333 in postseason play, 7 for 21. He has really come alive the second half of the season, hitting .421 in his last 30 games. Stanford coming into tonight's game having played 64 games, 42 and 22. Finished second to Arizona State in the Pac-10 South Division.
Troy Paulson doing a little work there to make sure he's got good footing.
See, they sprinkled the infield between games here, and it's a little sticky over there where the runner gets his lead. He wants to get good footing.
Chopped off the plate. Cobb to the pitcher covering. He dropped the ball. Looked like Beck took his eye off the ball momentarily. Just enough. Never had control with the glove, and he dropped it.
Well, you see Beck get off the mound. Good movement on that pitch right there. Carey tries to pull it. Beck ideally would have tried to catch up with that ball and take the play himself. That's a difficult play for a pitcher, to try to look back, catch it, and find the bag at the same time.
But I think he has time to catch it here, Jim, and then find the bag.
You see, he takes his eye off the ball and tries to locate the bag just an instant before he should have. Difficult play.
Error on the pitcher. Runners at first and second with 2 men out, and here's Doug Robbins. The catcher takes a strike. Robbins has had a good year.
He's been invited to the Olympic team tryouts. He's been an outstanding catcher for Mark Marquis.
Good pitch.
Well, he has got a quick breaking ball. Mark Marquis has said Doug Robbins the best all-around catcher they've ever had at Stanford. Look at the quick, sharp break on the Mark Beck slider. Interesting, you talk about Sprague projected as a professional catcher. The catcher in the major leagues that has caught more games than anybody in the history of the game was a third baseman at Stanford. Turned out to be a very good and durable catcher.
0-2. And Robbins waved at it. Perfect pitch by Mark Beck. Strikes out Doug Robbins. Gets 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Stanford leaves 2 stranded. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. There's no score. Cal State Fullerton coming to bat. Let's take a look at their lineup. The lineup for the Titans of Cal State Fullerton is brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the College World Series. With a 9-3 win over Miami, Cal State Fullerton is 5-0 in postseason play. They're coached by Larry Kushel in his first year at Fullerton. Leading off is the left fielder, Greg Mannion, a senior. He's hitting .409 with 5 runs and 5 RBIs in postseason play. Batting second, the designated hitter, Shane Flores, a senior. He's hitting .319. He has 2 hits in each of his last 3 games. Batting third, the catcher, Brent Main, a sophomore. He's hit safely in 39 of his last 40 games and leads the team with a .404 batting average. Batting fourth, the second baseman, Mike Ross, a senior. He started every game this season and leads the team with 60 RBIs. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Keith Cobb, a senior. He has 4 home runs in 5 postseason games, including a 3-run homer in the win over Miami. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Jim Osborne, a senior. He went 3 for 5 against Miami with a 9th-inning grand slam homer. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Ralph Ramirez, a junior. He's hitting .450 in postseason play. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Mark Razuk, a junior. He finished the regular season with 23 hits in 62 tries, but is just 2 for 20 in postseason play. And batting ninth, the center fielder, Bobby Jones, a junior. He's hitting .261. He went 1 for 4 in the game against Miami.
And Stanford on defense has Paul Carey in right field, Eric DeGraw in center, over in left Brian Johnson. Around the infield, Ed Sprague at third, Troy Paulson the shortstop, Frank Carey at second, and Ron Whitmire plays first. Behind the plate, senior Doug Robbins, and on the mound, the freshman Mike Messina.
6'2", 180 pounds from Montoursville, Pennsylvania. This year, a record of 9-3, 4.45 earned run average. His last outing a week ago in the Northeast Regional, he went 6 innings. Stanford won the game 6-5, but he was not involved in the decision, as Steve Chitrin came on to pick up the win in that game. That win kept Stanford alive in the Northeast Regional, and they went on to defeat Kentucky for a second time Tuesday afternoon, May 31st, 16-2. Here's Greg Mannion leading it off for Cal State Fullerton. Takes slow. Mannion's got good speed. Line drive hitter.
questionnaire of the players prior to the start of the season. They asked for his greatest sports thrill. He said it was hitting a home run in an intra-squad game off Mark Beck.
Love to rub it into their teammates.
Larry Kushel, 22 years as a head coach, his first year at Cal State Fullerton. After Augie Garrido coached 15 years at Cal State Fullerton, brought the Titans into Division I play in 1975 and won 2 national championships. Augie Garrido now coaching at University of Illinois.
Count of 1-2 on Mannion.
The team that got knocked off in the first game tonight, Fresno State. The last time they were here, one of the leading players on their team was Augie Garrido.
Fastball hit in the air, deep left field, into the corner, and it drops in, a base hit. And rolling the wall, Johnson chases, Mannion will get 3. Long run for Brian Johnson, he dove for it, could not make the play. It's a triple for Greg Mannion.
Well, they're playing Mannion straight away, and he just lofts this ball just inside the line. Brian Johnson makes a great effort, just misses the end of his glove, and by the time he can retrieve it, Mannion has an easy triple. Good effort on the part of Brian Johnson. He's more than just a baseball player. Plays quarterback for the Stanford football team.
Quite an athlete.
Mannion got the Titans started in the win over Miami with a single to lead off the ball game and scored a run.
First triple of the year for Greg Mannion. Shane Flores, the designated hitter, takes a strike. Infield back for Stanford. Fastball hit in the air, foul. So he got ahead of Mannion. So a fastball maybe made it a little too good.
But he's got good control. He's not really a strikeout pitcher like Beck is.
3:43 down the lines here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Toward the alleys, 370. Straightaway center, 420. Mike Messina fires hard. The high fastball ripped into left field for a base hit. Mannion scores, and Cal State Fullerton leads 1-0. An RBI single for Shane Flores. And again, the fastball was up. Shane Flores, 41st RBI of the season.
Good job, big Mannion. Here we go, here we go. Good job, Mannion. Got one too, Mannion.
Titans of Cal State Fullerton swinging the bats really well. Come into tonight's game with a .320 team batting average. You see the man on the top step, number 21, was Longo Garcia. Here's Mark Marquez out to settle his team down here.
Well, he mentioned he was not concerned about the poise of Mike Messina, but I think he'd like to go out and just get him to regroup a little bit. You mentioned the fastball up, Sam. Most of the pitches that pitchers have been hurt on so far have been the fastballs on the inside part of the plate. There's a reason for that. That lightweight aluminum bat is easy to get around and get into the hitting zone.
So does that negate the theory that you should pitch inside?
Well, you pitch way inside.
Gotcha. Brent Main, the catcher, and an outstanding hitter. Dennis Rogers coaches at third. This is his first year at Cal State Fullerton. Rick Vanderhook coaches at first.
That pitch on the outside corner, 0-2. Maine had a 38-game hitting streak that was snapped in the final game of the South Regional. And he got a couple of base hits the other night in Cal State Fullerton's win over Miami.
If they want to hit and run, this guy can make some contact. Probably wouldn't do it with an 0-2 count, but he's only struck out 14 times all year.
On the ground is short. Paulson to carry for one, on to first, an easy double play. Handled easily by Troy Paulson and turned nicely by Frank Carey. Nice double play combination.
I get a look at the pitch. Messina gets the ball down. And Mannion, or rather Maine, behind in the count, just makes contact on the ground. Easy double play by Paulson and Carey.
2 men out, and Mike Ross, the second baseman, hits it on the ground to third. Sprague with a big hop and the good arm. Leadoff triple sets the stage for Cal State Fullerton to score a run. Driven in by Shane Flores. Greg Mannion was the man who brought it home. And the Titans of Cal State Fullerton get on the board first. End of 1. This is game 8 of the College World Series. A battle of 2 winners. Stanford coming to bat in the top half of the second, trailing 1-0 after Mannion brought in the run. Back at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. The winner of this game will play on Thursday night. The loser will have to come back tomorrow night against Miami. Ron Whitmire way out in front. From West Bayshore, Long Island, Ron Whitmire has gotten his stroke down late in the season. Similar to last year, he's come on strong in the second half. Good fastball from Beck. He's throwing hard. Whitmire has shown power. Here's Beck, his second year at Cal State Fullerton. Let's see what the Super Jugs gun says. Hit in the air, left field. Mannion is there, and he's got it.
Well, that's the reason he didn't get around on it right there, Sam. 91 on the Super Jugs gun.
They love his arm. A lot of people are talking about Mark Beck next year as a potential first-round draft pick, along with Ben McDonald and the man we saw at shortstop in the first game, Steve Zosky. Eddie Zosky, I'm sorry. The quick release.
Ozzie Smith is his favorite player. He tries to play like it.
I don't think he plants himself and throws at all. Always on the run with the quick hands. Here's Brian Johnson. Mark Marquis, former All-American first baseman at Stanford. He played in the College World Series in 1967. Coach of the year last year, and he'll coach the U.S. Olympic team this year. And I don't know if he'll get home until sometime in October.
You talk about a busy schedule. If they go to the final game, he'll go right from here to the Olympic trial site in Tennessee. Look at some low heat. Ooh, man.
The location is great, Jim. That's the heat is good, but the location is great.
Both of them are kind of nice.
Slider struck him out. That's 3 strikeouts for Mark Beck. 2 men out here in the top half of the second inning.
Going to see what the hitter has to deal with. Not only trying to solve the heat of Mark Beck, but look at the sharpness once again of the breaking ball. Look how he has to lunge for this pitch. Once Beck gets ahead of him, no chance to hit that ball. Hang with him.
Tim Griffin, the designated hitter, steps in. Griffin had 2 hits in the game against Fresno State. He was bothered by the flu in the Northeast Regional. He's come back. He's okay now, and he has the leading batting average on the Stanford ball club. Went around, 2 strikes.
And when hitters swing like that, that tells you the sharpness of a pitcher's breaking ball. Because, see, it looks like it's going to be a strike till it gets about 10 feet out in front. See, he can't hold up there. That is a quick, late break.
Brings the fastball on the outside corner. Wow. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings for the big right-hander, Mark Beck. Cal State Fullerton relying on some good pitching thus far in the College World Series as Beck throwing heat past the Stanford Cardinal. We go to the bottom half of the second inning with the Titans of Cal State Fullerton leading 1-0. And Beck is racking up the Ks. Titans of Cal State Fullerton with a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. And Big Keith Cobb will lead it off for the Titans. 3 hits in the win over Miami, including a 3-run home run, the game-winning hit in that ball game.
think some people, including myself, Jim, are wondering if Tim Griffin saw that last pitch, or did it just whiz on by? Good breaking ball from Messina. This is another man that people are raving about, Mike Messina. Right-hander for Stanford, just a freshman. Another good breaking pitch.
I think that what they talk about with Messina and his strikeout total would reflect this is not that he can blow the ball by you, but for a youngster, such great poise and ability to get the breaking ball over.
Ahead on Cobb, 1-2. Got him on the outside corner.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Good location. Boy, you can't. No way Cobb's going to hit this pitch.
Take a look at it right here. Outside corner, knee high. He's only thrown 2 balls in the first inning and a third here out of 15 pitches.
One man down, and he throws another breaking pitch to Jim Osborne. Osborne had 3 hits against Miami. He's in the lineup replacing the starter Rex Peters, who was left home for disciplinary reasons. Good fastball on the outside corner. Peters a .330 hitter. And Osborne steps in, gets 3 hits, including a grand slam homer against Miami. How quickly they can forget Rex Peters when Osborne does that. Just missed outside.
You see the speed there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, 76. That was the curveball. Probably see a 12 to 14 mile an hour differential between curveball, fastball.
And the numbers being calibrated by the Jug Super Gun. 2-2 the count. One man out here in the bottom of the second. Hit hard, base hit to left field. Hung that breaking pitch inside. Osborne rips it for his 4th hit of the World Series.
Sam, a theory on throwing breaking ball after breaking ball is each one's got to be better than the one before. You can throw 2 average curves and then polish a guy off with a good one. But Messina, unfortunately for him, his 3rd curveball was the worst of the 3 that he threw. Base hit.
1 on with 1 out, and here's Ralph Ramirez, the 3rd baseman. This is not a running ball club, Cal State Fullerton. They usually play station to station, hit the ball, and look for the big base hit, the extra base hit to drive in the runs. The Titans of Cal State Fullerton won 4 straight in the South Regional. Off-speed pitch on the hand. Sprague wide of 3rd, goes to 1st with it. 2 men out. Good pitch by Messina. Sprague did not have a play at second base.
Good pitch by Messina and a quick decision by Sprague. After all the curveballs, Messina comes with a fastball, gets it in on the hands, and just not hit hard enough. As you see Sprague right there. Doesn't even look at second base. Takes the sure out.
2 men out, a runner at second. Zook, the shortstop. Breaking ball in the dirt from Messina.
Every time I hear that name, I go back to your hockey days with the Rangers. Walt Tkachuk. Tkachuk, that's it.
Like Mark Zook, huh? Hit hard. Over the head of the shortstop. 1 hop to the left fielder. Johnson's throw toward the plate, cut off. And in to score is Osborne. Cal State Fullerton leads it 2-0. Another big base hit. Mark Zook comes through.
Might have been a little miscommunication there. It looked like after Sprague caught the ball, he may have had a shot at home. Fastball once again up and on the inside part of the plate. Razuk hits it right on the nose. Johnson fields it cleanly, and it looks like they have a shot at the runner at home. Cut off, and it's 2-zip Titans.
Sprague made the cutoff, but turned and threw to 1st. Number 9 man in the order. Bobby Jones, the center fielder. 4 hits in the ball game for Cal State Fullerton. Now, Johnson, for a quarterback, you would think he'd have a good arm. He really didn't show a great arm on that throw to the plate.
A different kind of release. You have guys that can throw the football exceptionally hard, but they may not have the same rhythm when they throw the baseball.
Base hit was hit hard. He took it on one hop, not too deep left field. I thought he might have a better chance to get the runner attempting to score. Jim Osborne. Zook is back.
California pitchers, collegiate level right up to the pros, are influenced by Texas Ranger pitching coach Tom House. He has pitchers warm up throwing the football before the game. And the reason being is he feels like if you throw a perfect spiral, that is exactly the way you should release the baseball. Now, everybody doesn't go along with those theories, but whatever works.
Zook has some speed. He's stolen 12 bases this season. Pitch hit on the ground is short. Big hop to Paulson, on to Carey, and the side's retired. But again, Cal State Fullerton puts the runs together. That little ground ball to the third baseman helped set it up. It advanced the runner to second. Osborne scored on the base hit by Razuk, and Cal State Fullerton leads 2-0, end of 2. Sam Rosen and Jim Cott here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Earlier game went 12 innings. Miami defeated Fresno State 8-4. Fresno State is gone. Number 2 team in the nation, highly disappointed coming into this tournament with high hopes. Fresno State eliminated in 2 straight, having lost to Stanford 10-3 and losing to Miami in 12 innings 8-4. This is Eric DeGraw, the center fielder. Hits it hard but foul on the left side. DeGraw, a good outfielder, hitting .286.
You see why Mark Beck can throw the ball 90+ miles an hour. Look at the power he generates with that leg kick. Gets his entire body into that fastball.
Pretty good control. Can't get much better than that. Breaking pitch up the middle. Second baseman Ross is there. And out. The other thing I'm noticing, Jim, about the pitchers is that most of them go with the short windup or the no windup delivery. Very few give you the big arms over the top anymore. Why is that?
We've seen that evolve over a number of years. Back years ago, and they took the old windmill windup, and then I think in the days of Bob Turley and Don Larson. Another look at that pitch right there, the breaking ball from Mark Beck. Turley and Larson started the abbreviated windup to improve their control. You know, the least amount of activity in front of your face with your glove in your hands, the better chance you have of seeing the catcher's target and having good control.
Frank Carey, the leadoff man, grounded to third his first time, fouls it back. Carey with 74 hits this season. The big man to have aboard. He's the leading steal threat for Stanford. Good breaking pitch. Beck is mixing the pitches up very well. The guy who can throw hard, but shows you he can do more than just throw hard with a good assortment of pitches.
Whoop. Mix in a little chin music. I tell you, he had someone he could watch last year that he learned from. The #1 draft pick, Mike Harkey. Cal State Fullerton, now in the Chicago Cubs organization.
Just low. Good assortment, Jim. He's got the quick slider, got the hard fastball, and he's got that slow breaking pitch as well that he's mixed in a couple of times. Foul at the plate. Frank Carey goes jumping up and down. You look at Mark Beck, and I think a little bit reminiscent of Jack McDowell, who pitched here last year with the long arms and legs. There's that foul off Carey's foot.
See what happens when you get a fastball that hits the bottom part of that bat. Ouch. That's why a lot of left-hand hitters will wear that shin guard down there right in the ankle area for protection against foul balls.
Count full on Frank Carey. Boston. First walk given up by Mark Beck. Stanford trailing 2-0, top half of the third inning, and have the man they like to have aboard. And with good speed, Frank Carey, who's stolen 24 bases in 29 tries. There's Troy Paulson, the shortstop. Breaking pitch, base hit, left center field. Carey turns second and heads for third. Doesn't stop. Mannion's throw is offline. Runners at first and third with one man out for Stanford. Aggressive base running by Frank Carey. He never hesitated. He was going all the way.
Well, he made up his mind from the time Paulson hits this ball into left center field. 2 for 2 for Troy Paulson. The last one down the right field line. This one gets the breaking ball. And as you said, Carey never breaks stride, challenges the arm of Mannion. And then very alertly, third baseman Ramirez turns around to keep Paulson from advancing to second base.
First and third with one man out, and the big bats coming up for Stanford. Here's Ed Sprague. Struck out in the first inning. Infield in double play depth. If he hits it on the ground, good chance for two. Sprague does not run well.
With a 2-0 lead, first and third, they're playing the infield back at double play depth.
Fake of that third to first pickoff move.
That seems to be automatic, doesn't it? They keep trying it, but we have yet to see it work.
Fastball hit deep to left center field. Way back there, way back. That ball is gone. A home run for Ed Sprague. And Stanford leads 3-2. Power against power, and Sprague wins. Season for the first-round draft pick of the Toronto Blue Jays, Ed Sprague. Struck him out last time, couldn't get it by him this time.
Looks like it might be a breaking ball, and it hangs up about belt high. And look at Sprague get his arms extended. Same kind of leverage. The other night he screwed himself right into the ground on that home run he hit to dead straightaway left field. That one well over the wall in left center.
Here's Paul Carey. Good fastball from Beck. That ball hit over 400 feet by Ed Sprague, and I'd be remiss if I didn't call him Ed Sprague Jr. because Dad is here, a former major leaguer, Ed Sprague, watching his son.
I guarantee you he's got a smile on his face, as well as watching his son doing some scouting for the Baltimore Orioles.
Beck ahead 0-2 on Paul Carey. Carey voted MVP of the College World Series last year. Fastball up high. Hit that dramatic home run in the 10th inning to defeat LSU 6-5 to keep Stanford in the tournament, and they went on to win it. If they lost that game, Stanford would have been out. Overpowered him with that fastball. 5 strikeouts for Beck. I think that's the pitch he wanted to throw to Sprague.
That was a grudge fastball. You see, he's thrown an awful lot of breaking balls in the early part of the ball game, and with success. Sometimes after you get burned on a breaking ball, you just say, I'm going back to the heat. 3 times, blew it right past Carey.
And Sprague giving Stanford the 3-2 lead here in the top of the third. Doug Robbins, the catcher, fouls it off. Robbins struck out in the first inning.
8 players playing in the College World Series invited to the Olympic tryouts. Count of 0-2. Well, that Olympic team will really make some travels, Jim. Go to Japan to play, go to Italy to play in the World Tournament, and then on to Seoul, Korea.
I tell you, it'd be fun to go to Tennessee just to watch those guys work out. They got some players there.
0-2. Missed outside with a breaking pitch. Sophomore right-hander Mark Beck. 6-3 last year, 9-6 this year. Missed outside. Had a rough start to the season. Was 1-3 after his first 4 starts. Earned run average over 15. And then he settled down. Got himself back together. Somebody called from the dugout. 2-2 is the count. Scoreboard had 3-2. That's what Larry Kushel came out. And they've got it right now. On the outside corner. Caught Robbins looking. He's thrown 49 pitches. 38 have been strikes. 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. But he made one big mistake. Hung a slider to Ed Sprague, who lost it into the night in Omaha, Nebraska. A 3-run homer in the top of the 3rd gives Stanford a 3-2 lead. Ed Sprague with his 21st home run of the season. Those are the players playing here in the College World Series have been invited to the Olympic tryouts. Mark Beck and Brent Main of Cal State Fullerton, John Sayles, Tom Goodwin, and Eddie Zosky of Fresno State, Joe Gray and Mike Fiore of Miami, Doug Robbins and Ed Sprague of Stanford. Ed Sprague, a first-round draft pick, will probably sign and play on the Olympic team and then go on to pro ball after the Olympics.
I tell you, Toronto Blue Jays got to like the way he's been swinging the bat here at the College World Series.
Top of the order, Greg Mannion will lead it off for Cal State Fullerton, bottom of the 3rd. Led off the bottom of the 1st with a triple and scored on a single by Shane Flores. Titans have scored a run in each of the first 2 innings against Mike Messina. Messina would have been a first-round draft pick out of high school, but had already signed a letter of intent to play at Stanford. He was still drafted by Baltimore in the 11th round. Turned it down. Boy, that pitch backed up, looked almost like a screwball.
He gets so much on top of that curveball, that will happen sometime. Instead of breaking down and in to the left-hand hitter, it'll actually break a little bit away from it.
0-2 on Greg Mannion. Breaking pitch missed.
Should mention, along with the Olympic hopefuls that are here, the people in Omaha are very interested in following that team. 2 native sons, Greg Olson from Auburn. He was a #1 pick with Baltimore, and Scott Service, the catcher, went in the 3rd round to the Houston Astros. They'll be there.
The fastball fell back. Olson is being counted on. He was thinking, going back and forth about whether he would sign or play for the Olympic team, and Mark Marquis talked with him, and he expects Olson to be there. He'll be a key reliever for the U.S. Olympic team. He's had an outstanding year. Las Vegas finished 2nd. Bottle Las Vegas went to the West 2 Regional, where they were eliminated. Fresno State made it through the West 1 Regional. 3-2 pitch from Messina. Fastball on the outside corner. 2nd strikeout for Messina. Both have been called 3rd strikes.
A very patient at bat by Greg Mannion. Takes a lot of close pitches, but Messina gets this one. Knee-high outside corner. Rusty Herring rings him up. Another look at it. Good movement on that fastball.
A patient at bat, but not a productive at bat. Here's Shane Flores, single in the 1st inning to drive in a run.
into the ball game, hitting .319 on the outside corner. Good control by both pitchers.
Got to see that 3-run homer has picked Messina up a little bit. A little quicker tempo. Not quite as much time between pitches, going right after him.
On the ground slowly to short. Paulson. Across to Whitmire. Safe. He pulled him off the bag. Whitmire arguing the call, but to no avail.
Messina makes the pitch right here. Gets Flores way out in front. And now Whitmire tries to do the right thing by keeping his foot on the bag. Oftentimes a first baseman in that situation will catch the ball and just walk off the bag and try to get the benefit of the call from the umpire. You can clearly see the foot is not on the bag.
Error on the throw. Charge it to Troy Paulson. And here's Brent Main. Main came into the ball game hitting .404. During that hitting streak, he needed some luck to keep it alive and to go to the 10th inning of a couple of games. Kept it alive, went 38 straight games. Had it snapped in the final game of the South Regional by Texas A&M. Hit on the ground. Carry to Paulson for one. On to first. Second double play turned by the Stanford Cardinal. Sides retired in the third inning. The error by Paulson does not hurt as Stanford used the good middle defense to turn the double play. End of 3 here in Game 8 of the College World Series, and Stanford leads Cal State Fullerton 3-2. Flores trying to take out the middleman. Go to the top half of the 4th inning, and Stanford, good double play here, Jim.
Middle infielders learn to trust one another to make the right move. You see right there, second baseman Carey, all he does is just shovel the ball up in the air, knows that Paulson will be there, and the double play will turn itself. Hey, there's the Bayou Bengals are here.
He's throwing Mardi Gras beads around the stadium. Well, LSU had a tough time of it. Didn't hit that well this season and couldn't get through a very tough Southeast Conference. 3 Southeast Conference teams made it to the NCAA. Florida, a team that's here in the World Series, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. Wildcats had a great season. Whitmire hits it deep to center field. But right there is Bobby Jones. Didn't carry as far as it first thought it would. 1 man out.
You know, the twilight games here, Sam, where the weather's a little bit warmer and the wind a little more brisk out toward left field, the ball carrying much better. Pitchers get a little benefit at night from the ball not carrying quite as well.
1 man out. Here's Brian Johnson, the left fielder. Struck out his first time up. The starting quarterback on the Stanford football team. Super Gun says 91.
He hasn't lost it yet, has he?
A lot of people frown on players playing 2 sports, but not Mark Marquis, because he too played 2 sports when he was at Stanford. He was an outstanding football player as well as baseball player. And there's good rapport between Coach Elway, John Elway, the football coach at Stanford, and Mark Marquis, the baseball coach.
John Elway's son was drafted by the Yankees as a baseball player.
Last year, Toy Cook, who was a starting outfielder for Stanford, played football on the ground at third. Ramirez to Cobb, 2 men down.
We begin to see performances like Bo Jackson. We're going to see a lot more 2-sport players. Not that they're going to pick one or the other. Remember, Florida State had 2, Ronnie Lewis and Deion Sanders, outstanding football players. Gave up baseball this year, but they were here at the College World Series last year.
Designated hitter Tim Griffin. Good fastball from Mark Beck. First inning, Beck hasn't struck out a batter. Has 6 strikeouts thus far. Too high with that slider.
1-2.
Well, when you can throw it in the low 90s and then have the ability to get your off-speed pitches near the strike zone where hitters will chase them, makes you a complete pitcher.
Brings the fastball on the outside corner. 7 strikeouts for Mark Beck. His 3rd called strikeout. Griffin goes down. Beck does the job in the 4th inning. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning with Stanford leading Cal State Fullerton 3-2. Beck strikes out Griffin. Griffin didn't like it. The sun went down. Why the shades?
He's been hanging out with the bars.
Fullerton State stops at nothing.
They're saying hello to the left field lounge down in Starkville.
They had a great time. The players, the coaches just had a tremendous time down in Starkville, Mississippi, and Mississippi State during the regional. The fans took to them.
Just to show you what kind of support they got. The fans from Mississippi State called the players to congratulate them on their victory here at the College World Series.
Some great fans down there. And the Bulldogs had a good team but came up short. Their ace right-hander Bobby Reed. We saw him back in April against LSU, pitched a tremendous ball game, then underwent arm surgery. So they lost him, and that hurt their chances down the stretch. Count of 0-2 on Mike Ross facing the freshman Mike Messina. Good breaking ball on the ground to Sprague at 3rd. You can see Sprague will have the tools to be a catcher. He's got the strong gun.
Plays third base just the opposite of John Finn from Arizona State. We see Finn with a lot of quickness, knock the ball down, quick release. Sprague will lay back and sometimes let the ball play him, but because of his strong arm, he can afford to play a more patient third base. Play back a little deeper. See that? Just takes his time, checks the label, guns him down.
To the live action, Keith Cobb, the first baseman, struck out looking his first time up. Bottom half of the 4th inning, Stanford leading 3-2. Cal State Fullerton, single runs in the 1st and 2nd. 3-run homer by Ed Sprague put Stanford out in front in the 3rd. Hit in the air, foul.
We saw
tonight lively, not as big as the last 2 nights, but a lively crowd.
There's a lively fan right there.
No question about who she's rooting for. 0-2 on Cobb.
You know, we saw that outstanding performance in the first game by Rich Crane from Fresno State. About 3/4 of the outs were fly balls or strikeouts. Here's Messina. Every out that he has recorded is either a strikeout or a ground ball.
On the ground, foul.
Boy, college pitchers, you know what we see so often? They don't trust their stuff. Look at the fluid motion of Mike Messina. Boy, both Messina and Beck have some characteristics of Jack McDowell.
Good breaking ball. Strikes out Cobb for the 2nd time. 3rd strikeout from Mike Messina. And as the wave makes its way around Rosenblatt Stadium, Mike Messina has 2 men out in the 4th inning.
And just to develop that point about trust your stuff, yeah, they can throw it up around 90 and they've got a great breaking ball, but you see how aggressively they go after hitters. They're not trying to hit corners. They don't get behind in the count. They trust their stuff.
The live action, Jim Osborne takes a strike. Osborne singled and scored in the 2nd inning. As Cal State Fullerton built a run on Osborne's single, an infield out, and a single by Mark Razuk. Got the pitcher's call that time from Rusty Herring. He's got Osborne shaking his head. Osborne, a streak hitter who's on a good streak right now, but strikes out. The breaking pitch had him way out in front. Messina strikes out 2 in the inning. He's got 4 strikeouts. And Stanford goes
World Series. They're not taking it too serious. Umpire's been out there a long time. They need a little exercise. I want to see Eric Gregg do that.
Oh, yeah. I don't think so.
Top of the 5th. Stanford leading 3-2, and Eric DeGraw, the center fielder, one hop to Ramirez at third. One man out. Ralph Ramirez, product of Orange Coast Junior College and Los Amigos High School. He and Longo Garcia were teammates in Los Amigos High School in Santa Ana, California.
Garcia did some job the other night, out-dueling Joe Gray.
That's some pretty good pitching.
Yeah.
Just 2 fly balls, both off Beck. Top of the order, Frank Carey walked and scored in the 3rd inning. He was aboard when Sprague hit the 400-plus home run. Nice change of speed. And the good high hard one.
Boy, that's pitching right there.
You know, you look
First
at that
comes the
changeup.
local and then the express right up there around letter high where you can't get the barrel of the bat out front on. I don't know why you pitch guys up and in right there.
Changeup had to be about 75, and that one had to be up near 95. 1-2 on Frank Carey. Missed. The Super Jugs gun says 91.
Well, he's been consistent. We should point out, too, and I talked to the Jugs people about this, there are other radar guns, one called the Ray gun, that registers about 4 miles an hour slower. If you see a guy 91 on the Jugs, he's about 87 on the Ray gun. Scouts use both. And the difference is the Jugs gun will measure that ball just as it comes out of Mark Beck's hand. So they'll pick it up there about 6 to 8 feet as he's releasing the ball. The other guns sometimes will pick up the ball when it approaches home plate near the strike zone.
Which is the true test, or the...
Who knows? All they're really, in my estimation, good for is the differential between the pitches.
Lost him. Had him 1 and 2. And Carey works the walk. Second walk given up by Mark Beck, both to Frank Carey. And with 1 out, Troy Paulson, the batter. He's 2 for 2 thus far. Stanford leading 3-2. Carey, big threat to run, has got a good lead at first and dives back in. Outfield shades Paulson a little towards right. Carey dives back in. Interesting to see the big right-hander and that kick toward the plate. See how quickly he can get it into the catcher. Brought it quick with a fastball that time.
Well, what gives him an advantage, he may have a higher leg kick, but with that 91-mile-an-hour fastball, he gets the ball to home plate a little bit quicker. See, a little bit of an abbreviated leg kick and good movement on the fastball.
Carey's back. One man out. Top half of the 5th inning. Stanford leading Cal State Fullerton 3-2. The winner will play Thursday night. And the loser will come back tomorrow night against Miami. Arizona State will meet Florida.
in the first game of tomorrow's doubleheader. Pretty good lead at first. Carey's holding. Breaking pitch that time.
Good job by Beck. Concentrates on the runner, but does not lose his concentration in going to the plate, still making quality pitches. We've seen a great deal in the College World Series of pitchers paying so much attention to the base runners, they lose sight of trying to get the hitter out and end up falling behind in the count oftentimes.
The home run man, Ed Sprague, is on deck. Fastball down low. Brent Maine pounces on it. Frank carries the runner at first with one man out. Count of 1-2 on Troy Paulson. Quick move that time. A lot of dirt gathered in the uniform of Frank Carey. Strikeouts for Mark Beck. First time he's gotten Troy Paulson.
Not only a good slider, but look how Brent Maine shifts his body out to block that ball and come up with it and keep Frank Carey from going to second base. Good play by Maine as well as a good pitch by Beck.
Sophomore catcher, the Olympic invitees. Ed Sprague struck out his first time, hit a 3-run homer in the third. Deep to left center field, over the fence. Runner goes. Throw from Maine is high, and Carey's got it stolen. 25th stolen base of the season for Frank Carey. Throw a little high by Brent Maine.
Well, he had a lot of opportunity, Frank Carey did, to judge the move and get a good jump. Maine comes out of the chute, gets rid of it quickly, but the throw just a little bit high.
With 2 men out, there goes Carey again. Take another look.
Little dirt sandwich right there.
So Sprague has got a runner in scoring position for him. He has 79 RBIs this season, leading RBI man for Stanford. In the slider. He hung a slider back in the third inning. 8 strikeouts for Mark Beck. 21 home runs this season for Ed Sprague. Time in the stands. In the dirt. Good block by Brent Maine. That pitch bounced about 1.5 feet in front of home plate.
See him set up with the outside target and turn that glove with the thumbs to the outside. Use his hands, arms, and entire body just to block the ball.
1-2 to Sprague. Again, way outside with a slider, and that time Maine quickly to get it.
Nice feeling for a pitcher to know you've got a catcher back there. Go ahead and throw the breaking ball down in the dirt. You sure don't want to hang another one to this guy. And have the confidence the catcher will do the job in blocking.
See the glove of Brent Maine? It's a big one. Big pocket. Almost like a first baseman's mitt. Popped in the air, short center field. The shortstop, Mark Berzook, called off by Bobby Jones, the center fielder. Sides retired. So Stanford gets a walk, a stolen base, a runner in scoring position, but Ed Sprague leaves him stranded by flying out to center field. Middle of the 5th inning. Stanford still leading 3-2. Fullerton won the championship. Their hero was John Fishel.
Yes, sir.
Hit in the air to deep right field. Incaviglia goes back to the wall. That ball is gone. A two-run homer by John Fishel. He hit one to right field against Michigan. It is his second of the College World Series, and Cal State Fullerton leads it 3-0. The Titans went on to the championship game to meet Texas and beat them 3-1.
The left-hander that threw that pitch, one of the top pitching prospects at the time, Dennis Livingston. Never turned out to be a professional pitcher.
Ramirez hits it slowly to third. Sprague throws it high, and this time Whitmire stayed on the bag. Good play by the outstanding defensive first baseman, Ron Whitmire. Boy, that's a great shift of feet by Whitmire across the bag. Watch this play by Whitmire.
Sprague starts it off, and with his strong arm, throws it into the baseline. Now you see the quick footwork there by Ron Whitmire, shifting in foul territory to catch the ball, keeping his foot on the bag.
One man out.
And Ed Sprague appreciates it.
Hey, thank you, Ron. Mike Messina puts the breaking ball right on the outside corner to Mark Razuk, the shortstop. Razuk has one of the 4 hits off Messina. Hit hard, down the line, foul ball, just foul. Didn't miss by much. Razuk would have easily had a double, but it just hooked foul.
Well, he has hit the ball sharply in both of his at-bats.
Bob Jones, the third base umpire, made the call. Razuk had the last hit off Messina back in the second inning. Fastball misses outside, 1-2. Mike Messina. Fastball got him looking. 5 strikeouts for Messina. He's caught 3 Cal State Fullerton Titans looking.
Get a look at the low strike zone of Rusty Herring and the movement on the fastball of Mike Messina. 5 strikeouts, 10 ground ball outs, and no fly balls.
That's some nice pitching. Number 9 man in the order, Bobby Jones, the center fielder, takes a strike.
You talk about 2 sport athletes. I wonder if Joe Paterno is watching that. They recruited this guy, Messina. Place kicker, wide receiver, defensive back.
Breaking pitch from Messina, and he's ahead on the count, 0-2. Both pitchers have had excellent control, worked ahead of the hitters. Beck with 8 strikeouts, Messina with 5. Fastball on the outside corner. 6 strikeouts for Messina. Caught 2 men looking in that inning. Surprising them with a fastball. Good location on the outside corner. Into 5 innings. Stanford getting the good pitching from Mike Messina. Leads it 3-2. Back at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. 2 winners. Stanford defeated Fresno State in the first round. Cal State Fullerton defeated Miami in the first round. The winner tonight will be assured of playing for the division championship in this year's new format. 8 teams split into 2 divisions. Wichita State is 2-0, and they'll play Wednesday. And a win Wednesday would assure Wichita State a spot in the championship game on Saturday. Here's Paul Carey.
11 home runs in his last 30 ball games. Carey from Massachusetts went across the country to Stanford. It's good talent. Struggled early and has come on strong the last 2 months of the season. Change of speed by big Mark Beck. One mistake by Beck. A 3-run homer in the 3rd inning, hit by Ed Sprague on the outside corner. Boy, it's a pleasure to watch these pitchers work, Jim.
And I was just thinking these guys are the #2 pitchers on their pitching staff. That's some pitching depth there. Lee Plemmel pitched a great game for Stanford in the first win. And of course, Longo Garcia beat Miami in the first win for Cal State.
Bounced that one in the 3rd. I don't know if they're #2. They may be tied for #1.
They're 1A.
I think Plemmel got the start the other day for Stanford because of his experience and previous experience in the World Series. And Garcia, well, maybe just a calmer, more controlled pitcher, but you couldn't tell the emotion was bothering Mark Beck tonight. 9 strikeouts for Beck as he gets Carey looking. Now both of these pitchers, Jim, have gotten a lot of called 3rd strikes.
Well, they're getting you the benefit of, first of all, the liberal strike zone, but they're around the plate all the time. They get ahead of hitters, and when you do that, you're going to get the benefit of calls from the home plate umpire. If you're consistently behind in the count 3-1, 2-0, you won't get those pitches.
Doug Robbins has struck out twice, last time looking. Of the 9 strikeouts by Beck, 4 have come on called 3rd strikes. And for Messina, of his 6, 4 have come on 3rd strikes as well.
Fooling him with the breaking ball.
That's a good fastball.
When they're filling up the zone.
Got to start swinging the bats, guys.
Yeah, when you say #2, or I said #2 pitchers, from a professional prospect standpoint, these 2 guys are up here.
Yeah,
a little different level.
Really rated high. Slider fouled off into the Stanford dugout. Everybody ducking there. Start waving the towels, guys. Coach Mark Marquis ducked down. There he is. Coach of the Year last year as he led Stanford to the national championship. Missed with a fastball. 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Stanford. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Cal State Fullerton. We're in the 6th. Again, the slider.
See the defensive swing. That's where they're getting a lot of called strikes on the breaking ball, because as we said earlier in the game, both Messina and Beck have such a late, quick break to that breaking ball that it freezes the hitter.
Fastball fouled off, and the Jug Super Gun says 93. And even if it's off a couple of miles an hour, it's still pretty good. Let's check it again. Robbins says, please give me a little time. Doug Robbins improved his hitting this season. Last season he struggled at the plate. Hit .322 this year. He's continued his fine defensive play behind the plate. A little high.
See, now that'll tell you something right there. That miles per hour, that was a breaking ball, and it was 82, and it hung high in the strike zone. He overthrew the breaking ball. Most of them have been in the high 70s.
Hit in the air, high and deep to center field. Jones drifting back. Plenty of room to make the catch. 2 men out here in the top half of the 6th inning. Beck is not allowed to
hit since the home run by Ed Sprague back in the 3rd inning. They're having a good time here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Here's Ron Whitmire. Whitmire's had 5 home runs in his last 10 games. From Long Island. Fine defensive first baseman.
Sam, we've talked about the motion of Jack McDowell. You see the high leg kick and straight over the top.
Very
good
similar.
Down action on the breaking ball.
Very similar to McDowell. A little off that pitch, got the outside corner. Whitmire's being shaded towards left.
You see where this pitch is going?
Breaking pitch. Whitmire just got a piece.
You see the catcher put the fingers down, and then he will touch either the inside thigh on the right or the left. That tells you the location.
Larry Kushel, the head coach of Cal State Fullerton, lets his catcher call the pitches.
Wants an outside heat.
Fastball hit hard. Nice play by the shortstop, Razuk. Did he get it? Just in time. Threw that ball a little flat-footed from shortstop. Just got it there in time. Sides retired. 1, 2, 3. Go to the bottom half of the 6th inning with Stanford still leading Cal State Fullerton 3-2. Sam Rosen and Jim Cott here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska, and Jim has just been smiling all night. Love that pitching.
Boy, we have seen some baseball tonight. 12 innings in the first game. Great efforts by both the Fresno State pitcher, Rich Crane, as well as Greg Knowles.
Greg Mannion, leadoff hitter, swings at the breaking pitch from Messina. Mannion tripled, leading off the bottom of the 1st and scored. Struck out looking his 2nd time up. Now Messina's called 3rd strikes, Jim. Most of them have come on good fastballs. I think he surprised them with the fastball, set them up well, and surprised them with the fastball. Good breaking pitch.
Yeah, we've seen Beck get ahead with the fastball, polish him off with the quick breaker. We've seen Messina get ahead with the breaking ball, get him out with a moving fastball. Once again, a high leg kick like Jack McDowell. And both these guys come right over the top, get that good sharp break on the breaking ball.
And that looked like the backup breaking ball, almost the screwball.
When you get way on top of that curve, it sometimes will tend to break the other way.
0-2 to Mannion. Left it outside. That's great control. Wow. 50 strikes, only 11 balls. Breaking ball hit hard right to the first baseman, Whitmire. 1 man out. Larry Kushel and his wife Fran send get well wishes to Fran's father, Bob Marshall, is in a hospital in Wintersville, Ohio, tuning in. And everybody says hello and get well soon. Mr. Marshall. Larry Kushel, who spent last year at Northwestern and now at Cal State Fullerton. And Kushel knows this ballpark. He coached a couple of years here at Creighton. They play their ball games here. Shane Flores drove in a run with a single. His first time, got on in an error by the shortstop Razuk last time up.
Very much a different approach from what Augie Garrido, the coach that preceded him at Cal State Fullerton.
Breaking pitch stays inside, 2-1.
Difference in styles. I think Garrido, a much more emotional, high-powered, high-energy coach. Larry Kushel, very laid back. A lot of importance on the mental approach.
Good fastball ripped up the middle. Second hit for Shane Flores. The fastball a little up and a little too far out over the plate.
I'll see if it has the same kind of movement. He's been staying down in the strike zone. That one pretty straight.
First hit for Cal State Fullerton since the second inning. Their 5th of the ball game. And here's Brent Main, who has twice hit into double plays. First time to the shortstop, second time to the second baseman. And this is the leading hitter on the ball club. Hits it to the shortstop. Paulson bobbles the ball. He tried to rush it a little bit. Error by Paulson, his second of the game.
Boy, and Brent Main had to be talking to himself running down the first baseline. That would have been 3 at-bats and 3 double plays. Paulson just loses the grip on the ball. That would have been a perfect double play ball. Let's see what happens. Well, just in trying to get the ball out of the glove, he loses the grip on it.
Mark Marquis, the coach of Stanford, is heading for the mound with Mike Ross in the batter's box. We've got warm-up action in the bullpen for Stanford.
I should point out, in referring to the first game, Sam, first of all, what a great ball game. Miami won it in 12 innings, 8-4. Some outstanding pitching. The pitcher that took the loss for Fresno State was John Sayles. And we mentioned that he is not really the first pitcher to lose 2 games at the College World Series, but the first pitcher to lose 2 games back-to-back when his team gets eliminated. Tough way to end the season for him. Came in here 15-0.
Mark Marquis heads back. He's got Steve Chikrin warming in the bullpen. The ace reliever of the Stanford staff. Getting up here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 on. Only 1 out. Mike Ross. Dangerous man at the plate. Breaking pitch hit to third. Sprague knocks it down. Stays with it. Doesn't have a play. Everybody's safe as the Stanford defense breaks down. 2 errors. And Stanford in deep trouble. The bases are loaded.
Now, once again, another ground ball hit sharply. Another double play ball. But just hit Sprague on the heel of the glove. And now Messina in a bases loaded situation.
And here it is again. Perfect double play ball.
See, he tends to lay back on the ball a little bit more than an aggressive third baseman like John Finn.
Keith Cobb hits it deep to left field. Way back. Johnson on the warning track at the wall. He leaps and he got it. The runners tag and move up. The game is tied. It's a sacrifice fly. Keith Cobb missed a grand slam homer by inches as Johnson leaped against the fence and made the catch. It's a sacrifice fly for Keith Cobb.
Let's get a look at this swing. You remember the home run he hit off Joe Gray on the pitch inside. Great extension. Got it there again. Johnson does a great job of judging the fence right there. Almost like a high jumper. Takes a couple of steps. What a great catch. Saved a grand slam.
Oh, no, he wanted that one. Should point out that the fence in left field has been lowered this year. Cut down to accommodate the bleachers that have been installed in left field. Oh, did he want it? Is he intense? See the lower part of the fence?
Which enabled Johnson to go over the wall. Saw Mike Fiore make a similar catch in the first game.
The game is tied.
Kind of thought they'd get an appeal here because
they are appealing, but nothing doing.
The runners, thinking that ball would be a grand slam, had to really hustle back to tag up in advance.
Flores scored. Maine moved to third and Ross to second. So there are runners at second and third. 2 men out. 1 run in for Cal State Fullerton. And the game tied 3-3 here in the bottom of the 6th. That's Brent Maine, the runner at third. And Mike Ross, the runner at second. Both aboard on errors. Mike Messina remains calm and pitches to Jim Osborne, who went after a high fastball. Ahead 0-2 on the count. You can see the poise of Messina with all the adversity that's hit him this inning. Hit hard, Sprague can't handle it. The run scores. And his second run trying for the plate hits him in the back. The front of the plate hit Ross in the back, and 2 runs are in. Some daring base running by Mike Ross. Ed Sprague slow to recover and find the ball, and then hit Ross with the throw in the back. And that's got to be 2 errors, Jim, I would think.
A double error could very well be scored. Sprague misses the ground ball. We'll get a look at it right here. Ball once again hits sharply, but very playable. Gets through the gate. Now Sprague shags it down and throws right into the runner. Aggressive base running on the part of Cal State Fullerton, and this will be a real test to the poise of freshman Mike Messina. Should have been out of this inning long ago.
Only 1 error is charged. This one bounced to third. Sprague on a tough hop, throws it short, safe. Runner trying for the plate is going to be out. Osborne is out. A nightmare of an inning for Ed Sprague at third base. It ends with Osborne being tagged out at the plate. But Cal State Fullerton breaks through, taking advantage of the errors by Stanford. 3 of them in the inning, and Cal State Fullerton scores 3 runs. And at the end of 6, the Titans of Cal State Fullerton have regained the lead 5-3. Whitmire's throw to the plate beats Jim Osborne. He has no chance, but Cal State Fullerton leads it. Now on that last play, there was another error for Ed Sprague, a throwing error allowing Ramirez to reach first safely, and then Osborne throwed out at the plate. So 3 errors in the inning for Sprague, 4 total for Stanford. And Mark Beck has the lead back. Good slider thrown to Brian Johnson, the left fielder.
Boy, and in fairness to Ed Sprague, that last ball was not an easy play after missing the potential double play ball. He had to make an off-balance throw, and Whitmire alertly nailed the guy at home.
Quite an inning. Cal State Fullerton gets 3 runs on 1 hit, 4 errors, and 1 man left on. And I think that inning is an indication of why Ed Sprague is being touted for catching duties as a professional.
Well, he's got a strong arm.
Brian Johnson chases the slider and goes down swinging. 10 strikeouts in the game for Mark Beck. That's the 8th time this season he's been in double figures in strikeouts.
This is really a key inning for Mark Beck also. When your team goes out and takes advantage of some sloppy defense and gets 3 runs, you want to get right back on the mound and shut Stanford down right now, not give them an opportunity to get back in the game.
Griffin, the designated hitter, lines it into left field for a base hit. Hit it hard. Griffin struck out looking his first 2 times up. This time he decided to go up swinging. First base hit for Stanford since the 3rd inning.
Talking about Ed Sprague's third base play, I think we've seen him have some tough chances down there just in the last inning, but I think what it points up is what an outstanding third base that we've seen John Finn play for Arizona State, because he handled some balls like that last night and did an outstanding job of it.
And Ramirez for Cal State Fullerton has played well. Number 9 man, Eric DeGraw, the center fielder, on the outside corner. We're in the top half of the 7th inning with Cal State Fullerton leading 5-3. Second led 2-0. McGraw takes inside and low on the breaking pitch count, 1-1. 3-run home run by Ed Sprague gave Stanford a 3-2 lead, and then 4 errors by Stanford opened the door for 3 runs for Cal State Fullerton in the bottom of the 6th. Good fastball. Ed Sprague
corner cool. In a little trouble with it that inning.
Fastball fouled off. Sprague got to be standing at third base, saying to himself, why are they picking on me?
Isn't that always the case? As soon as you have a couple of errors, they keep hitting you those tough hops one right after the other. See that shot there of Mark Beck sticking his tongue out? Maybe that's characteristic of California right-handers. Let's get a look at it here. Bert Blyleven, outstanding right-hander with the Minnesota Twins. Ever since the day he came up, always sticks his tongue out on his curveball. Beck does it there on the Blazer.
100 pitches, 74 strikes. 2-2, left it outside, full count. Let's see what there goes. Looped into right center field. Tough chance. And did he get it? Yes. Jones made the catch. The throw back to first. Double play. Bobby Jones with a diving catch turns it into a double play. And the Titans of Cal State Fullerton preserve the 5-3 lead.
Well, you talk about contrasting defense. You see the 5 errors that cost Stanford 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th, and now the outstanding defense by Cal State. Partially blinded by right fielder Jim Osborne. Jones comes up with the play. Wow, what a great sliding catch, and then an accurate throw to Cobb at first base to complete the double play.
We go to the bottom of the 7th with the Titans of Cal State Fullerton leading it. Bobby Jones makes the catch, says, I've got it, and throws back to first place to complete the double play. Good pick there by Keith Cobb.
Great play on Jones' part. Good pick. And now look at this. Hey, you think umpires don't have to be in shape? Watch Ron Graham right here trying to race over to first base in time to make the call. Yeah, he gets there.
Good hustle. Second base umpire went out to check the catch. First base umpire.
That's a dead heat.
Live action, Mark Razuk, the shortstop, leading off the bottom half of the 7th inning. The winner gets a couple of nights off to come back Thursday and assured a shot at playing for the division championship. The loser will have to come back tomorrow night to play Miami. Hit in the air, deep right center field. Going back is DeGraw. He's there and makes the catch.
Boy, after the kind of game these two teams have been through, as well as Miami in the first game, they could all use a night off. They're not going to get it. The loser of this one will have to play again tomorrow.
Jones, who made a superb catch. Jones came into the game hitting .261 for the season, finished the regular season hitting .333. And his parents in the crowd. Jones has been drafted by the Oakland A's and liked that catch. Count of 2-0. One of the few times Mike Messina has been behind on the count. Missed with a fastball. Messina has not walked a man. 3-1. He struck out 6. Defense, he'd still have a 3-2 lead.
That last inning had to take a lot out of him, mentally as well as physically.
Good fastball.
Had to throw a lot of pitches, and mentally there were 2 different times he thought turn it for him, and he finds himself down 5-3.
Santa coming back. Jones stays alive. Crowd of over 12,000 on hand here at Rosenblatt Stadium for this fourth night of action. Fastball hit hard to center field. DeGraw right there. 2 outs. DeGraw's a fine center fielder.
Oh, we've seen some shabby defensive play, and we've seen some great defensive play. Jones' catch to end the top of the 7th is what's kept Cal State in the lead right here.
Leadoff man Greg Mannion, 1 for 3, tripled and scored in the first inning. Struck out looking and grounded to short. Ryan Kaiser, he pitched in the College World Series last year. Started against LSU, went 5 innings. Listening up. Good breaking ball from Macedo. Only 5 hits in the game for Cal State Fullerton. Got only 1 hit when they scored 3 runs last inning. Fastball hit hard right to Frank Carey, but he dropped it. And he can't get him. It was hit hard, but Carey should have had it. Good speed, beat it out before Carey could recover.
Well, the ball hit sharply, but most players will tell you, hey, if I can get a glove on it, I ought to catch it. You see Carey get in position, good jump on the ball, he's got it. And then, no, slips out of his glove, can't recover in time to make the play at first.
E4, 6 errors in the ball game for Stanford. Runner goes, throwdown is there. Mannion is caught stealing. Good arm by Doug Robbins. Cuts down Greg Mannion to retire the side so the error does not hurt Stanford. And at the end of 7, it's still 5-3. Robbins comes out of the chute quick. Mannion is the speed man and the stealing threat. Carey is right there to put the tag on him. End of 7. Cal State Fullerton leads 5-3.
Getting a guy on a stolen base is a 3-part play. The pitcher's got to unload the ball in a hurry. Catcher has to do a good job of releasing it, throwing it accurately, and then look at this tag by Frank Carey. A sweep tag. See, if he takes any more time than that and getting it down, the runner's safe. All part of it.
And Frank Carey will lead it off here in the top half of the 8th inning with Stanford trailing 5-3. Carey has walked his last 2 times. Scored back in the 3rd inning. Stanford got 3 in the 3rd. A walk to Carey, a single by Paulson, and a long 3-run homer by Ed Sprague. Beck got the call there.
Carey's gained 5 pounds in this ball game, Sam, just carrying around all the dirt in his uniform.
Well, those are some impressive numbers. He has been on quite a tear. Missed. Came into the game hitting 500 in postseason play, 10 for 20. Mark Beck behind on the count, 2-1. Cal State Fullerton has bullpen action ready in case he tires. Hit foul, third base side. Showed some power. Number 15 is is Eric Silvey, the right-hander, and the other right-hander, number 25, is Paul Johnson. Johnson was superb in the South Regional. He came in against Mississippi State, pitched 7 in the 3rd inning, struck out 13 in a 12-inning ball game that Cal State Fullerton won 5-3. Came back the next day and pitched another 5 innings.
Both the California Golden Bears, who were eliminated yesterday, had to win a tough regional down in Austin, Texas. And then Cal State Fullerton coming out of the region down in Starkville, Mississippi.
Larry Cushell, the head coach, out to have a chat, make sure things are going right with his right-hander, Mark Beck, and talking to Brent Main, the catcher, as well. Gets the info he needs. Larry Cushell was a pitcher himself at Arizona State.
Well, he saw Beck shake off about 3 signs, and he probably wondered why. Like, hey, is your elbow bothering you? You can't throw your breaking ball? Or just wanted to find out if there was anything wrong. Because Beck did shake Main off 3 times.
Check the Jug Super Gun. Fastball. No, that had to be fastball 67.
That was you and I playing catch. That wasn't Beck.
I think it got stuck at 67. It was on its way up to about 85 or 86. 2-2 the count on Carey. Hit in the air, center field. Bobby Jones drifts over. Puts it away easily. Time the Jugs gun said 91.
See, that's where the gun can be a beneficial tool to a coach or a pitcher. Look at a guy like Beck. He's had a tough ball game, but here it is, the 8th inning, and he's still got his good live fastball. Now, if he were down 86, 87, you might say, well, maybe it's time to make a move.
Paulson singles his first 2 times up, and then struck out his last time up. Stanford wants a base runner with Ed Sprague on deck. Good breaking pitch.
Ed Sprague wants a base runner. He's got a little grudge swinging to do when he gets up there.
Foul back up here to our right. Bangs against the press box and comes down. There's Ed Sprague. Offensively, he's provided the runs for Stanford. Defensively, he's given up the key runs to Cal State Fullerton. High with that pitch. 2-2 on Troy Paulson.
The first real sign of a little fatigue on the part of Beck is when the breaking ball slips out a little early and hangs high and into the right-hand hitter. Not many of those have gotten away from him tonight.
11 strikeouts for Mark Beck. Good pitch that was down in the zone, maybe even down out of the zone, but a tough pitch to hit.
Throws 2 hangers and then comes back with an absolutely perfect pitch. Got the tongue out.
And a good breaker.
A little idea what the hitter has to look at right there with that down action on that breaking ball.
2 men out, and here's Ed Sprague with nobody on, which is fine, as the coaching staff of Cal State Fullerton says we want to face Sprague with nobody on, so he can't hurt us. They faced him with 2 men on in the 3rd, and he hurt him badly. Hit a slider out of the ballpark. 2-0.
And here's the benefit of having that 2-run lead and nobody on base, because you're down 2-0 on the count. You can go ahead and challenge Ed Sprague with a fastball right here, not fall behind 3-0 by throwing a breaking ball.
Way out of the strike zone of that fastball, and Brent Main wants to check with his pitcher. Beck has walked 2 and struck out 11. Showing a little signs of emotion here.
More pitches have been up and out of the strike zone this inning than the previous 7.
pitches, third walk given up by Mark Beck. And now here comes Paul Carey. Carey grounded to the first baseman and got on when the pitcher dropped the ball covering, an error, and then struck out his last 2 times up. Cal State dugout. Carey struck out swinging in the 3rd, struck out looking in the 6th. He's the tying run at the plate. With 2 men out here in the 8th. Fastball to strike.
It's one of the reasons that Larry Koshel will stay with Mark Beck right here, is he does not have a left-handed relief pitcher that he depends on to come in situations like this to face Paul Carey.
And breaking pitch misses. Mark was flashing the signs. That sign says hit one out, Paul. Outside corner with a good fastball.
Paul Carey right here, Sam, probably trying to paint a picture in his mind of saying that's Ben McDonald out there in the mound, just like last year. Hit a dramatic grand slam home run. A 2-run homer here, of course, would just tie it.
Just like McDonald, if he's going to hit him, he's going to have to go left field. He struck out. 3rd time. Mark Beck struck out Paul Carey. He strikes out 2 more in the inning. 12 strikeouts for the game, and we go to the bottom of the 8th with Cal State Fullerton leading at 5-3. Mike Messina of Stanford has pitched a fine ball game, but the big number you saw on the line score, 6 errors, have killed him.
Boy, look at that, 85 pitches in just 7 innings. You know what amazed me is the guys here that help us with the stats and count the pitches say he has not thrown more than 14 pitches in an inning, even in the inning where they made 4 errors and got 3 runs. The designated hitter, 2 for 3, a single twice, got on an error. Hits it hard, deep to short. Paulson, long throw is in time. 1 man down. Paulson has made 2 errors in the ball game. Carey has made 1, Frank Carey that is. Sprague has made 3, and the dirty uniform belongs to Brent Maine. Hit into double plays his first 2 times up, and thought he had hit into a 3rd one when he grounded one right to the shortstop last time up in the 6th. But Paulson dropped the ball as he tried to get it out of the glove too quickly. Rushed it and dropped it. Misses. That was followed by Sprague's first error, a sacrifice fly, and then 2 more errors by Sprague. Cal State Fullerton had 3 runs, all unearned. Hit in the air, left center field. Long way to go, and that ball drops in for a base hit. Maine turns and holds on. That ball just kept slicing away from Eric DeGraw. Maine has now hit in 40 of his last 41 games. Stanford has not been over-shifting on defense, been playing the hitters primarily straight away. Ball down and away from Brent Maine, and he hits it just in the seam there in left center field. DeGraw cannot quite get it, and neither can Brian Johnson.
Mark Marquis coming out to the mound. With 1 man out, a runner at first. And the tough Mike Ross, the cleanup hitter, set to hit. It looks like Messina may be through.
Boy, he's shown great poise, hasn't he, for a freshman, and all the adversity he had to go through in the 6th inning alone when his teammates made 4 errors behind him.
Ryan Kaiser gets the call as Messina gives up a single with 1 man out here in the 8th inning. Cal State Fullerton leading 5-3. Cal State Fullerton took the early lead. Stanford with a 3-run homer in the 3rd by Ed Sprague. Had a 3-2 lead into the 6th. Then 4 Stanford errors. Opened the door for 3 Cal State Fullerton runs. That's where we stand here in the bottom of the 8th. As Mike Messina, after a fine outing, leaves in favor of Brian Kaiser, a junior right-hander, a record of 2-0, his 16th appearance of the season, 14th in relief. Look at the numbers there, 55 hits in 44 2/3 innings of pitching.
Shows you he is not a power pitcher, a strikeout pitcher.
Runner at first is the responsibility of Mike Messina, who pitched 7 1/3 innings, allowed 5 runs, only 2 earned, 6 hits, walked none, struck out 6. And here's Mike Ross. Ross has been in a slump, but he broke out of it just at the right time in the South Regional. Hit a 3-run home run to beat Texas A&M in the bottom half of the 9th inning and sent Cal State Fullerton to the College World Series. Breaking pitch popped up. It's playable in foul territory. Whitmire calls for it and makes the catch. Two men out. And big Keith Cobb is heading for the plate. He missed a grand slam home run by inches his last time up in the 6th inning when Brian Johnson, the left fielder, leaped against the fence in left field to catch his home run try. Wound up as a sacrifice fly for Cobb and an RBI. Good slider from Kaiser.
Sure that's not Kurt Rambis just snuck into Keith Cobb's uniform?
They call him Haas.
I can see why.
Maine dives back in. Maine is not a threat to steal. Pretty good move by Kaiser to hold him close. Take the bat out of his hands. Parents of Keith Cobb. In the dirt, handled nicely by Robbins. Count of 2-1. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Cal State Fullerton leading Stanford 5-3. The winner is off until Thursday. The loser has to come back tomorrow night to play Miami. Arizona State goes against Florida at 5 o'clock Eastern time, followed by the loser of this game against Miami.
Wait, don't let this 5-3 score deceive you into thinking this has not been a game dominated by pitching. The Cardinal made 6 errors behind Mike Messina. That's the reason Cal State has 5 runs. And Mark Beck really just a hanging slider to Ed Sprague for a 3-run homer. Other than that, he's dominated this game.
Kaiser behind Cobb, 2-1. Good slider. He went around. Count even 2-2. Dirty uniform. Those catchers always get the uniforms dirty.
Boy, we have seen some catchers put on performances here at the College World Series defensively. A lot of breaking balls thrown. They've been called on to block a lot of pitches here in these first 8 games.
Keith Cobb, 20 home runs to lead Cal State Fullerton. 58 RBIs, second on the team to Mike Ross.
the reason Kaiser keeps throwing over to first base. He'd like to keep from facing Keith Cobb. He wants to get that third out the easy way.
He wants to break Cobb's concentration. Coaches are concentrating. Blocked by Robbins. Count is full. Robbins, a good defensive catcher. Showed a good arm by throwing out Greg Mannion last inning. Bounced the breaking pitch, and they said he went around. Strike three. Robbins makes the tag. Cobb can't believe it. But he went around on the breaking ball in the dirt. Cobb strikes out. Kaiser gets him, and the side's retired. We go to the ninth with Cal State Fullerton holding a 5-3 lead on the Stanford Cardinal. The big hitter wanted to hit one out. Instead, he got called out. They said he went around. He didn't think so. Nevertheless, it's time to play defense and leave it up to Mark Beck on the mound as we go to the ninth. ESPN's live presentation of the 1988 NCAA College World Series is being brought to you by the financial professionals at Payne Weber, by AT&T, the right choice, by Wilson Sporting Goods Company, where there's a Will, there's Wilson, and by Wendy's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers, the best burgers in the business. Top half of the ninth inning. Cal State Fullerton leading Stanford 5-3. 6 errors, the key factor in the ball game. But this man has also been a key factor in the ball game with his brilliant pitching. Mark Beck, sophomore right-hander. He struck out 12. Facing Doug Robbins, misses with a fastball. New right fielder for Cal State Fullerton, Jason Rolish, has gone in on the outside corner. There's Jason Rolish replacing Jim Osborne for defensive purposes here in the ninth inning. Good slider. Mark Beck. Scouts are talking about him for next year. He's showing you something this year. Just waved at it. Robbins had no chance. He strikes out for the third time in the game.
Well, that's a great sign for a young pitcher. Close ball game. In the 8th inning, you saw a few pitches get away from him. Now here he comes out in the 9th inning when he knows he's got to make quality pitches. Great command again of that breaking ball low on the outside corner.
Here's Ron Whitmire. He's one of 3 hitters who have not struck out against Mark Beck. Good fastball. How's this for pitching? Paul Carey, the cleanup hitter, struck out 3 times. Robbins, the number 5 hitter, has struck out 3 times.
That's when you know you're dominating a ball game, when you strike out the heart of the opposition's order.
Just one mistake by Mark Beck. Came back in the 3rd inning. Slider missed. Ed Sprague hit a 3-run homer. Whitmire 0 for 3 in the ball game. Took a little off that pitch.
Great changeup. Well, this year all the talk was who they're going to draft, Andy Bennis or Greg Olson. Next year, I think it might be Mark Beck or Ben McDonald.
Fastball on the ground in the hole. And grabbed by, good play by Ross. Did he get him? Yes, what a play. Beck covers. Great play by Ross in the hole. And Beck gets over to cover it. Outstanding play.
Boy, the guy's not only got a great breaking ball. Look at this play right there by Ross, and then the great stretch by Beck and Paul Carey, or rather Ron Whitmire right there, could have really done serious injury to Mark Beck. You see him right there in the baseline, and he wisely jumped over him. Oof, great athletic ability right there. Keeping his foot on the bag and the concentration of catching the ball.
6'5", and the long arms, the big stretch, and it paid off. We're going to get a pinch hitter, Eric Cox, a sophomore, left-handed batter. Will bat for Brian Johnson. So not only does big Mark Beck know how to pitch, but he can feel the position as well. Smart play going over.
And he's had a long night out there and got over to first base in a hurry.
2 men out here in the top of the ninth. Tough for a hitter coming off the bench cold to face a hot pitcher like Mark Beck. Cox has been up only 33 times this season. He's hitting .242. 2 men out in the ninth inning. Cal State Fullerton leading Stanford 5-3. Beck just reaching back and trying to bust the jugs gun. Right back to the pitcher. And it's all over. Cal State Fullerton has gotten 2 complete game pitching performances, 2 victories, and they move in to the winners round on Thursday night. Mark Beck with a brilliant performance. He struck out 13 and allowed only 4 hits as Cal State Fullerton beats Stanford 5-3. An overpowering performance by Mark Beck.
Sam, they said coming into the College World Series with the new format, you might be able to get into the championship game with just 2 pitchers, and Cal State Fullerton is in position to do that. They could send Longo Garcia back to the hill on Thursday, and then that young man, Mark Beck, would be ready again on Saturday.
For the championship. They shake hands as Cal State Fullerton moves on in the winner's bracket. Stanford will have to come back to play Miami tomorrow night. That'll be a tough task. Mark Beck, he finishes it off. Oh, there's that ball, nice and easy, and puts it away. Cal State Fullerton wins it 5-3. We'll be right back. Of the game for Cal State Fullerton is Mark Beck. He struck out 13. He walked 3, pitches a complete game, allows only 4 hits in pitching Cal State Fullerton to its 2nd win here in the College World Series. The Frito-Lay player of the game for the Stanford Cardinal is Mike Messina. Went 7 in the 3rd innings, allowed only 2 earned runs, and if it wasn't for the bad defense in that big inning, the 6th inning, this game might be going on a little longer. Look at the numbers. Great control by both pitchers. Look at Beck, 93 strikes, only 39 balls. 70 strikes for Messina, only 20 balls. That's some pitching, huh?
And just a sophomore and a freshman. I think that makes it even that much more impressive. Messina, the freshman, Mark Beck, the sophomore.
Well, for Stanford, they've got to get their act together defensively and come back in a hurry and regroup for tomorrow night's game against Miami. The Firestone play of the game. How about the defensive gem of the center fielder, Bobby Jones, a diving catch.
That's what saved the game right there for the Titans and completes the double play.
What a marvelous play by Bobby Jones. Good defense.
Good call.
There it was. That's Tim Griffin trying to get back. That's the umpire staying with him. And he calls him out. Griffin hustling, but Bobby Jones' throw gets there. Griffin beats the umpire, but he doesn't beat the throw. Cal State Fullerton got great pitching, excellent defense, a couple of timely hits as well, and they win it 5-3. We'll be right back. Jim Cott did 2 games and an extra 3 innings, and he's ready to go for another one.
You had to love the kind of baseball we had the opportunity to see tonight.
Jim will be back to do Arizona State and Florida along with Ron Franklin tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That's an elimination game. Another elimination game follows. Miami will take on Stanford. Joe Morgan and I will bring you all the action. We could get some more fine pitching like we saw tonight from sophomore Mark Beck. He struck out Paul Carey 3 times. He struck out 13 Stanford Cardinal players. Mark Beck goes the distance in a powerful performance for the Titans of Cal State Fullerton. They are now assured of playing for the division championship. They'll get a couple of nights off and play again on Thursday. There's reason to celebrate when you've got pitching like the Titans of Cal State Fullerton. First it was Longo Garcia, and then it was Mark Beck. For the Stanford Cardinal, they've got to come back, regroup, get the defense back, and get their hitting shoes back on. Stanford will play again tomorrow night. For Jim Cott, this is Sam Rosen. So long, everyone.